There truly is no better time to be alive than right now. Welcome to the Upward and Onward podcast. Let's get it.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Upward and Onward podcast, where we're focused on entrepreneurship, creativity, and business. Today, we have a special guest with us, Raul from Conversation, Your Podcast Experience, and he's going to tell us a little bit about himself and then tell you guys about this new business in Rhode Island and what's to come. Raul, how's it going?
All good, Ali. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thank you, actually, because this is my first time in this space, and I feel at home. I feel welcomed. I'm relaxed. It's beautiful. Great vibe, and just, it's a blessing to be here. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, more than welcome. Anytime.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So for the people who are maybe listening and watching, can you just tell them a little bit about yourself?
My name is Raul Polanco. I am a father. Firstly, I guess I'm a husband. I work in IT staffing and recruiting, and right now my big initiative, my big project is this space alongside with my partners here. What you're seeing here, conversations, yeah.
Which is super cool, and it's new to Rhode Island, it's new to the scene, and maybe some people don't know about it yet. But what do you guys offer here at Conversation Studios?
Yeah, so really it's a platform, right, for folks, the average common individual, to come in and really speak their piece, speak their voice, let their voice be out, create something powerful, unique to them. I think everybody has a unique perspective on life, whether it's just in life in general or whether it's a specific passion, a business, an idea, a book, a story that they can communicate out to the world in a comfortable environment where we take a lot of the technical aspects and all the stuff that can easily become a headache out of the equation. So it's just easy to just come in, work with us, say your piece, and kind of leave with something that you can work with. Yeah.
Hell yeah, I love that, man. So how did the idea come about? You know, it's a podcasting studio in Rhode Island, and there's not many of them. So how did the idea come to mind? Yeah,
no, good question. It was on accident in a way. My partners and I, who are family, we're all family, actual family. We just kind of decided to just organize ourselves, right? It was like middle of pandemic, and we just decided to, hey, what are we going to do? If the world ended today, what do we have to show for it? Type of scenario,
yep.
At least from my perspective. And we really started to put our heads together, put our resources together, and think of real creative ways to do business, make it make sense, make money. And also at the same time, align it with something that we're truly passionate about. So that was a real period of like insight and real self-insight too, for all of us, I would say. But ultimately, that led to starting, we got into stocks, right? We
that was the first foray?
Yeah, that was the first kind of thing that we all did together.
Okay,
got into some stocks. It's going. It's still, hey, we've been building the portfolio. It's something that we've went into completely blind. And from that point to this point, a lot more educated and knowledgeable in that space. Not pros by any means, but taught ourselves to at least play the game, right? With this economy and everything. Yeah. So that's how it kind of started everything, and then it led to, all right, let's create something. We started off with creating jewelry. We started with jewelry,
no way.
Like actual, some of my partners, they're really into jewelry and, gold and diamonds and all that fun stuff and all the creative ways of making it. Kind of like an ice box of Rhode Island, but a little bit more unique and creative. And, because there's not much of that out here. Although there is, not to the level that we were thinking. So problem was we didn't know how to do any jewelry. We didn't know how to create it. So we went down that path. I'll leave it at this because it wasn't a waste because we learned something, but we ended up buying are you familiar with a CAD?
No, like the software?
Yeah, like computer assisted design stuff. Yeah. We purchased a CAD system. It was a $7,000 CAD software.
What did he say?
Yeah, and it was just like, hey, you know what? this is going to help us design. And I sat there and I'm teaching myself this stuff. I'm going through these training sessions, all of these things. Bought a 3D printer.
Wow.
Right. Bought a 3D printer.
Those aren't cheap.
Yeah. And just started playing around with it, understanding it, this resin and chemicals you had to cover your. I was teaching myself a lot. It was a lot going on. But ultimately, so we decided, we're like, all right, we really need to become more, like, put more time and energy into this, right? If we're going to really take it off the ground, let's really do this. So in order for us to do this, we're all family men, right?
That's right.
We all have children.
Yeah.
Middle of the pandemic, children home, everybody kind of home and everything. We ended up deciding that we needed a space.
Okay.
So we ultimately landed into this space. It was the first place we checked out, although we had like 10 other places to on the list on the day of. First place we checked out, got it right on the spot. It was like, yep, this is the spot. It was affordable. It was, it was good.
Yeah.
And it was a plus. It brought us another space. It brought us 2 spaces. So we were figuring out, all right, what are we going to do with this other space? Oh, hey, you know what? Let's create a podcast. We've always wanted to create a podcast about everything that we've been learning about stocks, about the jewelry, about self-insight, and really aligning ourselves with like just being more intentional and more conscious of just life in general and the direction that we wanted to really take it in. Because remember, we were coming out of a period of uncertainty, right? With the pandemic. Everybody was kind of feeling that, I'm sure. So that kind of triggered, like, if the world ended today, what do I have to show for it? Other than, obviously all the blessings in my life as well. But ultimately, that led to that situation wherein we got the space, so we started buying the equipment.
Okay.
We're like, all right, we want these cameras. All right, researching, what do we need? How do we connect this? We're not that technical, like the basic, like, charge my phone.
Yeah, I could do that.
kind of deal. But, so we really started really teaching ourselves, researching, putting a lot of time and energy into understanding what we don't know in order to make it work the way we see it working. So that's kind of how it started. It led to this. We came to a space where we was like, look, all of this equipment that we're buying, all the money that it takes to get to the standard and the quality that we're aiming for, this is a lot of work. This is a turnoff.
Yeah.
This is a turnoff. I almost, it becomes a job. Is like the investment is not matching the return on
That's
it,
right.
right?
Yeah.
So it was like, why don't we take that process, simplify it as best as we can, and be able to really deliver it to the community? And that's the reason why a lot of people are hesitant to create a podcast.
right.
Because it's too much. You got to do the editing.
Oh, yeah.
You got to do the all the technical aspects of it. 1 camera, 3 cameras, lighting, all of that fun stuff.
That's right.
And it can become enough to a point where you just don't want to do it anymore.
That's right.
So that's kind of what was the driver right there. It was like, how can we provide this service to folks that really do want to start something like this? It's a trending industry. It's not going down.
That's for sure.
I mean, I wouldn't even say trending anymore. I would say it's a staple in our industry. It's like music.
That's right.
The music industry, you got recording studios for that.
That's true.
You got music studios for like, instruments and all that, but like it's never going away. So this I think is going in that very same direction.
I think so too. So it was the fact that you and your family members wanted to start a podcast that led you to then creating a podcasting business and a podcast studio for other people to be able to launch their own thing off the ground too.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. And even before that, the stocks. And you said it's still going.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
The jewelry isn't.
Yeah, the jewelry.
That's been put on, ice.
Hey. Oh, literally. I like that.
You like that?
I like
no
that.
pun intended.
That's what's up, man. Super cool. Well, I want to jump to one of my other questions, which is, as you guys were ramping up, and even now, just getting more and more familiar with the business and all of the things that it takes to launch this, really, what would you say have been like the biggest challenges?
There is always a challenge, right? There's always a challenge. And I've come to learn that the challenge or that obstacle that may seem to be in the way is actually the way, right? And once I kind of understood that, there's really no big challenges anymore. There's just, it's what we have to go through to be able to get to the level that we want to be. But the biggest hurdles, those challenges definitely existed and still do today, because we're in an ever-growing environment, right? So there's always going to be a challenge. But I'll say the biggest was probably the technical aspects of it, just with everything from editing to understanding all the, just the network infrastructure of everything the way that we wanted it. That was the biggest learning curve. But also just starting the business in general, like officially, the paperwork and the administrative stuff that went behind it. It was like went into it blind. And it's like, I don't know. I just know that I need to register an LLC to be able to, sell to the public, to be able to do this and do that, it just led to so many other things, and other challenges. But ultimately, those lead to the way.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Super cool. Because at least on this podcast and the episodes that we've recorded, we talk a lot with business owners, and a lot of them maybe don't have a physical space. That's something that I'm realizing could be different from, say if you have a tech startup and you have some piece of software that you sell, but something that's physical. I can only imagine that there's other challenges that maybe you weren't even expecting, but clearly you've overcame. So you and your partners, kudos to you guys. I'm excited for you.
Appreciate you, man.
Looking forward to the future. With the future being in mind, what excites you about the future of Conversation Studios, and what are you looking forward to the most?
Meeting people like you, to be honest. No, that's not even just saying that. It's very, I genuinely mean that, because, like I said, one of the reasons that we came about all of this is to provide a platform for folks that maybe don't have access to a space. They don't want to record at home in their living room, in their basement, or whatever. They want a space to feel comfortable. That opens an avenue to meet people that are serious about just, talking about what they talking about, and within their network. Everybody is a subject matter expert of their own unique perspectives in life.
That's right.
So to be able to hear all the different, and I keep saying this word perspective because it's so powerful to me, but to hear everybody's different perspective, all different walks of life, different people, different backgrounds, that right there has been the most rewarding, genuinely.
Okay.
And I still look forward to more of that, because like I said, I'm meeting people like you, and it's just, it just opens up a lot of opportunities, especially when you're of the mind to accept opportunities, right?
So prior to this episode, you and I and Los, one of the other business partners of Conversation Studios, we were all chatting, and we were talking about the growth mindset, something that I thought I knew what it really was, but you have a better understanding than I do. Are you willing to talk about that, and just kind of how the growth mindset has been influential in your life?
I first learned about the growth mindset. I've read it was an audiobook by Dr. Carol Dweck, who is a professor at a university. And basically, she just did this huge study and all these manners and different ways of it. And ultimately, the huge study over years, too, where she was just kind of trying to understand mindsets and how it influences our daily lives, right? Or how it can, and whether or not it's detrimental or positive, and if so, can it be changed, right? She breaks it down to two different mindsets. One is a fixed mindset, and one is a growth mindset. The fixed mindset being, I suck at math. Yeah. I am bad with numbers, and I'm just never gonna get better, and that's okay. That's it. Yeah. And you know what? That is okay. If that's what it is, that gets by. It's not hurting anybody. But with that mindset is like, okay, you accepted that you're not going to get better. Yep. Cool, and you believe that. With the growth mindset, it's I suck at math. I'm not too good at this. But if I practice and if I just do this for a little bit more, if I get a tutor, if I figure out a way to make it work this way, then I can be better at it. And that right there, just the idea of being open to becoming better at something versus I'm just not good at that.
Yeah.
And just jumping right to that conclusion, I'm just not good at that.
Yep.
Yet. That's what the growth mindset. Okay, you're just not good at that yet.
Interesting.
Right.
I love that. I love that. Has that been influential in your own life after become more familiar with it?
Yeah. Once I read that, that was one of the many books that I read that really shifted my mindset.
Okay.
It just reinforces the idea that you can shift your mindset.
Which I absolutely love. All right. Random question for you. If aliens touched down on Earth right now, what's the first thing you'd say to them?
Oof. If aliens touch down on Earth right now, let's go home. Go back, run while you still not.
Well, you would have welcomed them into your house?
Nah, yeah, exactly. That's where I was going. Yeah, no, honestly, is love is the answer, man.
Yeah, that's
as corny as that sounds,
Hey.
like of another race, like a outside of the human race, just touches down. First of all, their technology is better than us. So
Yeah.
we're like, if they're making it like this, right, it gotta be. So if they're touching down, then it's like, okay, treat you like I would want to be treated if I'm in a foreign country or something like that.
Okay.
I'll welcome you into my home.
Wow.
You know?
Really?
With an eye on you.
I was going to say, like, what
With
if
a
it
major
came-
eye on you. I'll let my partners in like
Yeah.
the military or
Like,
something
hey,
worry about the
guys got
other,
this?
you know, like, hey, worry about the safety aspect.
Yeah.
But, you know, if it was me,
Yeah.
you know, like that. I mean, ideally, right?
And then my last question is, say there's someone listening or watching this podcast and they're thinking to themselves, Raul from Conversation Studios, super cool guy, and he's someone who has that growth mindset and has adopted it. But also the people around him, he has great company. And I want to be like Raul. I want to maybe start my own business one day. What would you say to an aspiring entrepreneur or an aspiring business owner?
That's a solid question. Solid. Action. Like, if it all boils down, boil it all, because there's so many steps. Like, there's so much that I can say, and we can talk about it for hours and hours and hours. But boil it all down, and it's really about action. Whether it's the right action or the wrong, that's for, you know, the outcome to determine. But action with conscience, intention, like, yeah, like I want to start a business, right? I want to start a car. I want to buy a car wash. Okay, great. Good idea. I don't know where to start. All right, where do you think?
Yeah.
Where do you think you want to start? Maybe Google. How do I buy a car wash? Or are there any car washes? Or how to start a car wash? This ChatGPT now.
Yeah.
You can ask all these questions, and what that does, what that's doing right there, and I'm not saying you're going to find the answer right there, but what that's doing is you're triggering your whole mind, your whole like intentions and everything about you, your energy, you're triggering it to focus on a particular topic.
That's right.
And that topic or that whatever it is that you're focusing on, it just happens to be something that you consciously want to do.
That's right.
So it's only good.
Yeah.
So that ultimately, if you continue and just make the action, whether or not you know whether it's the right thing or not, as long as it's in the general direction of the car wash,
That's right.
whatever it may be, then that's a win.
That's a
You took that action by Google searching
That's
or
it.
ChatGPTing.
Yeah.
But you could also, and then after that, you're going to want another action. All right, what's next?
YouTube video.
Call this person. Oh, YouTube. Oh, how much does it cost?
Yeah.
Oh, so now I got to save up this amount of money. Ooh, okay. All right. How do, it just leads to the next. And then what couples with that, because it is action. That's what starts it all off. But really, you got to stick with it.
You gotta stick with it. You do have to stick with it. Consistency.
Baby, step by step. There's a phrase or like a story. It was something along the lines where you're in a dark forest.
Okay.
You cannot see 10 feet in front of you. You can't see 5 feet, 4 feet, 3 feet, 2 feet, but you can see 1 foot in front of you.
Interesting.
Take that 1 foot. That's the only, like, you can see it. Maybe you don't see the whole, where it's going to go, because remember, started with stocks and jewelry, and it ended here because we ended up needing a space that offered us an opportunity to, and then it ultimately led to this. So I say that because take that step, as long as your intention is there and you got that picture, that vision of where you want to be at the end of it, that in between is all dark forest.
That's true.
You got to take that step by step, and
and the path will uncover itself.
Yeah.
Man, super exciting. I love that. Absolutely loved it. This was a great first episode back. I am so thankful that I came across, I think, an Instagram post talking about Conversation Studios. And that's how I saw this. And then here we are, like a couple weeks later, and chopping it up with Raul, met Los. Great guys, great place. Check it out on Instagram, conversation_studios. You don't want to miss out, because what's going to happen is your friend, who's also been thinking about starting this podcast, is going to come here and you're not, and then you're going to see him and you're going to be like, man, I should have went. So, Conversation Studios, get here. Raul, thanks for everything.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, bro.
Appreciate you, man.
Peace out.